Good morning, family. You all looking good today. Yeah, I walked into the church this morning and I felt so good I almost forgot my Bible and my notebook. I had to run back out and get it. I'm like, that's just that spirit in here, y'all. Yeah. Thank God. We are all here today. Okay, Raymond, before you hit that buzzer, I got a couple of extra minutes, okay? I know he'll be done gong me. Okay, look here, folks. First off, I'm going to give y'all a question. If you remember Mississippi burning, Operation Mississippi burning, okay, one question. Who solved the crime of Mississippi burning? There was one person that solved it. Think about it, and I'll come back and get your answer. You know, the Fort Worth Police Department was established on March the 1st in 1873. It was incorporated then, and on April the 12th of the same year, they appointed E.M. Turrell was the first city manager, marshal. He had 4 police officers. Now Fort Worth is the 12th largest city in the U.S. since its incorporation. As of 2022, we had 956,709 people, and I'm sure that's grown. The police department employs 2,132 people, and that's probably grown, and the employee police strength of 1,743. This is 2022, folks, these statistics. So, you know, they've had 27 police chiefs. The first black police chief was Joe Fitzgerald. Remember him? Yeah, I think that was around 2015 when he was first African American. And of course, you all know, you might not know, that they made history again with the first female that was a commander. Is she a chief now? Okay, now she's a deputy chief, so she's even making more history. And her name was Monica Martin. And I've been knowing her since college. She's good people. I'll probably go up there now, she'll be like, who? I helped you move your stuff to Houston, woman. You did. Probably get one of those now, but yeah, I've been knowing her for a minute. She's good people. And you know, history's being made all the time. Y'all coming to church is history. Because you have to keep in mind, we the first generation, Tastebud Ministries Church, to come to this building. So y'all are making history right now. So, you know, history is being made all the time. Just got to look around. And then I would like to also state that, you know, our own Lieutenant Michael Brown. Give a shout out. We know you ain't going to smile. He became the first black police lieutenant to lead the mounted patrol. And he's also in charge of he's the events coordinator also. Hey, look, that's an important part, that events coordinator, because you know them jokers, all 1,700 of them be like, Brother Mike, can you get me in on that part-time out there at TCU? It's an important position, it really is. And then all the special events, because I remember when the Super Bowl came. He has to coordinate stuff like that with the officers and assign them and stuff like that. So it's an important position, y'all. So we're going to give a shout out to our own Lieutenant Michael Brown, the history maker. You need to take more pictures too, man, because I'm trying to scroll through and find a picture.
Oh, I had some.
No, I mean him on his horse. I got that one too, but I'm talking about on the search pages. They don't have us blacks on them search pages because you ain't taking enough pictures. Wow. You are history, brother. When you leave Mountain Patrol, we want to look through Google and see you riding. That's history. So take more pictures, man. Yeah, we want to see you. When we gone, the kids be like, ooh, look at that. You got to give them something to look forward to. Yeah, okay. I'm off my high horse on him. because he back there. I don't want to embarrass him. Okay, this is about Black Wall Street and the Tulsa riot. I was going to concentrate on the riot part, but we all know what happened. So Pastor Kim was talking to me, and I had to redo this because she brought up a good question. I mean, a good point was, let's talk about the city. Okay, the city was booming. So we're going to talk more about the city than we are the riot. We know the riot happened. At the beginning of the 20th century, the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, was a miniature version of a modern metropolis. The district centered around Greenwood Avenue, also known as Black Wall Street, where thousands of African Americans came to live and start businesses. Before Greenwood became Black Wall Street, it was considered Indian territory. African Americans who had previously served as slaves to the tribes eventually acquired land in Greenwood through the Dawes Act. And the door for businesses and homes started to develop. Sharecroppers who wanted to avoid racial oppression also flocked to the area. The Dawes Act, or sometimes called the General Allotment Act, was passed in 1887 by President Grover Cleveland and allowed the federal government to break up tribal lands. This was meant to encourage the Native Americans to assimilate into mainstream U.S. society, which ended up stripping them over 90 million acres of land from Native Americans. We'll talk about that more during the Native American Month. The tribes, and so actually they start selling the land to non-Native Americans. Black Wall Street drew several aspiring African American entrepreneurs to the area. Shops, clubs, hotels, restaurants, grocery stores, salons, pool hall, no, we got to play some pool, and more were located on Greenwood Avenue, making it a hot spot for those who lived there and those who did not. Some district residents worked elsewhere, but they still chose to spend their hard-earned wages within Greenwood. Greenwood wasn't only for a place for business owners to make money. The neighborhood had several services that American citizens might take for granted today, such as a school system, a bank, hospital, and public transportation system. The media was an integral part of Greenwood. The Tulsa Star became Greenwood's primary news source, providing information about legal rights and current events that could affect African Americans. In 1921, the Greenwood section of Greenwood contained 108 black-owned businesses, including 41 grocery and meat markets, 30 restaurants, 11 boarding and housing rooms, 9 billiard halls, that would go to the pool again, and 5 hotels. Greenwood also had 33 black professionals, including 15 physicians and surgeons, 6 real estate, loan, and insurance agents, 4 pharmacists, 3 lawyers, and 2 dentists, 24 skilled craft persons in the community, including 10 tailors, 5 building contractors and painters, and 4 shoemakers. The community, 26 service workers included 12 laborers and 6 shoe shiners, and 5 clothing cleaner shops. Segregation made Black Wall Street insular economy a necessity. Among the prominent citizens of Greenwood, this also included at least 3 millionaires who accumulated their wealth through the oil boom. The wealth of the owned property in Greenwood in 1921 was estimated to be around $200 million, which in today's day, the money would equal $59,762,886.59. Had to put that in there. This necessity, however, coupled with the vision among Greenwood's residents to create a self-sufficient district, made Black Wall Street one of the most successful and affluent black communities in U.S. history. Rarely mentioned in the textbooks, the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre was one of the most horrific incidents of social violence in American history. The once prosperous Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, known as Black Wall Street, was destroyed in a two-day explosion of violence by a mob of white residents. Hundreds of black-owned businesses and homes were burned to the ground, killing an estimated 100 to 300 black residents and leaving an estimated 10,000 black residents homeless. On May 31, 1921, 19-year-old black shoe shiner Dirk Rowland, an employee at Greenwood Main Street Shoe Parlor, entered an elevator operated by 17-year-old white female Sarah Page in nearby Drexler building. A white clerk at the nearby clothing store heard what he thought was a scream, and thinking a young woman had been assaulted, he contacted the authorities. After a brief investigation took place, shortly afterwards, and Page told the police that Rowland had merely grabbed her arm and she would not press charges. Later, the Tulsa Tribune published a false account of the story with heavily sensationalized language. The next morning, Rowland was taken into police custody. Armed black men from the town quickly gathered at the courthouse after Rowland's arrest to protect him from being lynched. Violent confrontations with white men and white police officers quickly erupted. After the outbreak at the courthouse, black men retreated, and hundreds of white people pursued after them, marching through downtown and turning their violence to Greenwood and its residents throughout the night. White mob members began looting and setting fire to local businesses. Events only continued to worsen as carloads of armed whites began shooting into black residential neighborhoods. Black community members tried to escape or hide, while white assailants broke into occupied homes, ordering people in the streets and forcing them to detention centers. Attack by air followed, with numerous eyewitnesses detailing airplanes carrying white mob members dropping firebombs made of turpentine on businesses, homes, and even fleeing families. The rampage lasted an estimated 16 hours. By the end of the next day, more than 35 square blocks of once prosperous Greenwood district had been destroyed. Shortly after, Governor James Robertson, who had gone to Tulsa during the riot, requested a grand jury investigate the events in the summer of 1921. The governor, however, appointed a jury of 12 white men, and the all-white jury indicted mostly black men for the massacre, calling the event a riot and attributing it to black mobs. No one was ever convicted for all those deaths, injuries, or property damage that took place. Did they ever rebuild Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Yes. In fact, the city of Tulsa began rebuilding Greenwood District immediately after the riots. By 1942, the zone was home to 242 black-owned businesses, including bowling alleys, hotels, and boutiques. It had double the amount there had been in 1921. That's a brief history of the Tulsa race riots, and I call it a massacre like me and Pastor Kim was talking about. That wasn't no riot. So that was a massacre. But anyway, did anybody answer the question? No, on the Mississippi burning. Who solved it? No, they didn't. You're right. There you go. There, look at that. Man, no history. Brother Raymond, woo, woo. Isley Brothers came through. I thought he was saying the mob, but he right. It was a mafia enforcer, and he was called the Grim Reaper. His name was Gregory Scarpa. And what he did was he acted like his arm was hurt and went to a TV store. And one of the Klansmen who worked there, he asked him, "Can you take this TV to my car? I can't do it." When the guy got to the car, he put a gun in him and said, "Get in." Yep, and he took him to a shack, kind of like in the movie. And, yep, he was an interrogator. And once he finished, that guy had wrote 20 pages of confession. He probably put his wife in there, kids. Yeah, everybody, if you was named, you got, on that, hey, look here, this and that. Yeah, he had a 20-page confession when the Grim Reaper finished with him. Because this guy was, he was something else. And so, because the FBI, those college-educated kids, they went down there. And the sad thing about it was, if you look into it, man, them jokers were so violent. They were still doing stuff while the FBI was there, man, running people out, burning houses down. And the FBI agent was like, man, these jokers are so mean. So what they did, they went to Hoover and just told him, man, we ain't going to get no information. We got to bring in somebody who can match evil for evil. And that's what they told him. We need a group of people that can match evil for evil and violence for violence. So who did they call? The mafia. And that's how it got solved. That case just got closed in 2016. That case, 52 years, and they just closed it. All right. Hope y'all learned something. God bless y'all.